What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here. With Cold Pursuit hitting this Friday, since the film stars Liam Neeson, I decided to do my top 10 favorite Liam Neeson movies. I mean, this guy is just awesome. I mean, he could do, serious dramas, and of course, he could go on and do action. He could do comedy pretty well. The guy's really awesome. And of course, today, he's in lots of controversy because of something he said today, and I'm not going to really get into that, to be honest with you. But if you guys probably know what I'm talking about, but because to be honest, I really do not want to get into that stuff. Like I don't really get into gossips on my videos. So anyway, that being said, here's my 10 favorite Liam Neeson movies. All right, coming in at number 10 is kind of a recent one, and that is The Commuter. This movie I thought was loads of fun. I mean, in it, Liam Neeson, plays an insurance salesman, Micah, who is on his daily commute home, and he quickly becomes anything but, and everything quickly becomes anything but a routine, and he ends up being contacted by a mysterious stranger, pretty much played by Vera Farmiga. And so Liam Neeson has to forced to uncover the identity of a hidden passenger on the train before the last stop. And he of course works against the clock to solve the puzzle. So he realizes a deadly plan is of course unfolding. So of course he's caught up in a criminal conspiracy that carries life and death and lots of stakes. Is of course on the train. I mean, this is taken on a train. That's what it really is. Liam Neeson, I thought, was really good in this. There's also a really cool fight scene with him and the and Damson Idris, who's on that show, Snowfall. That's a really cool fight scene. Of course, it was directed by John Collette Sarah. He did a good job at directing. And I gotta say, this is kind of an underrated film. I mean, it didn't really get talked about a whole lot last year. Of course, it got released in early January, so the talk kind of ended after its release. But if you guys haven't seen The Commuter, check it's on DVD and all. Check it out; it's really good. All right, coming in at number 9 is Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I'm one of the rare folks who didn't mind the prequels, and I kind of like Phantom Menace. And Liam Neeson, of course, was really good in this. In it, Liam Neeson plays Qui-Gon Jinn, who's a Jedi Master who discovers Anakin and insists that the boy should be trained by a Jedi. And of course, despite the Jedi's council refusal to do so. I mean, Liam Neeson was really good in this. Of course, you had Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, who, of course, goes on to be Darth Vader. Of course, Ewan McGregor was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Samuel Jackson was Mace Windu. I mean, of course, Phantom Menace has loads of problems, and I admit it does have loads of problems. But I still thought it was a pretty decent one. Yeah, I mean, it's of course it's not really the best Star Wars or anything like that, but it's still pretty decent. I mean, I actually saw the film, when it got re-released back in 2012, and it's still pretty decent. And also, it's also a shame that we never really got to see Liam Neeson back as a role again in the next few installments, but it'll be cool seeing him back in the Star Wars universe. All right. Coming in at number 8 is NonStop. Now, in Commuter, that was kind of taken on a train. NonStop is taken on a plane. You see where I'm getting at? And in NonStop, Liam Neeson, plays a U.S. Air Marshal named Bill Marks, who's an alcoholic. And, of course, he lost, his passion for his work long ago. And, there's, lives are pretty much at stake during every flight because because he like receives a series of text messages demanding that he instruct like the airline to transfer 150 million into an offshore account, or passenger will die every 20 minutes. This is a really fun film. It was also directed by John Collette Sarah. He's a cool director. I mean, Liam Neeson and John Collette Sarah, they are a really cool match. And NonStop is a really fun to ride. Liam Neeson was badass as always. You, of course, had Julianne Moore in this, Nate Parker, Lupita Nyong'o was in this. Such a fun film. If you guys never seen NonStop, definitely give this one a shot. All right, speaking of John Collette Sarah, coming in at number 7 is the movie I was an extra for, by the way. Coming in at number 7 is Run or Night. I was completely an extra for this movie, too. Like the scene in Madison Square Garden when people are like running and out of Madison Square Garden, cheering "Let's Go Rangers" and all. I was actually in that area. So, and I actually also got to meet Liam Neeson too. I mean, we may or may not have accidentally bumped into each other, because like I'm going off the subject here a little. But when I was an extra for Run or Night, me and Liam Neeson, was walking towards each other, and we accidentally bumped each other, and he told me, "Sorry, buddy." I literally should have said sorry back as well, but I was completely starstruck. I couldn't even say anything because how starstruck I was. But anyway, that's enough about that. Now back to Run or Night, of course. Run or Night is a completely fun thriller. John Collette Sarah, who I also got to meet on the set of Run or Night. Cool guy, by the way. Anyway, John Collette Sarah, I thought did a really cool job at directing this film. In it, Liam Neeson plays like a longtime hitman named Jimmy Conlon, who is the best friend of a mob boss played by Ed Harris, who has seen better days, and he's like haunted by the sins of his past, and a police detective who's like been breathing down his neck for like over 30 years. And so pretty much kind of like in Run or Night, Liam Neeson's character is also a drunk. So anyway, in the film, he also he actually encounters his son, played by Joe Kinnaman, who becomes like a mob target. And so Liam Neeson's character Jimmy has to figure that the only way to atone for past mistakes is to make sure that his son doesn't wind up at the wrong end of the gun. So he's pretty much trying to save his son and all. It's really fun. Joe Kinnaman was pretty good. You had Boyd Holbrook, who I'm actually a fan of. He was really cool in Predator. Logan, he was awesome in. I really like seeing Boyd Holbrook and stuff. And you even had Common. Common was awesome in this. Yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't seen Run or Night, it's another really cool Liam Neeson movie worth checking out. All right, coming in at number 6 is Batman Begins. Now, of course, here Liam Neeson, of course, plays Ra's al Ghul. I always mispronounce that character. Anyway, and of course, he's the one who pretty much trains a young Bruce Wayne. I mean, Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul is a cool casting. They really did a good job at having Liam Neeson play that role. The scenes with him and Bruce Wayne was pretty cool. Of course, Liam Neeson reprised his role again, like 2 movies ago with The Dark Knight Returns. And too bad we never really got to see Liam Neeson back as the role. Like, it would have been cool to have seen him maybe pop up in Justice League and all, but I'll let you see Liam Neeson back in the comic book role in the future. But all right, coming in at number 5 is Love Actually. This is a really good romance film. Of course, it's different storylines or roll into one. And of course, Liam Neeson, plays a guy named Dana, who mourns the recent death of his wife Joanna, And of course, he tries to raise his stepson, played by Thomas Brody Sangster, alone. He also falls for a American classmate, also named Joanna, played by Olivia Olson. So, I mean, the scenes with Liam Neeson in that I thought was good. I mean, that's something about Liam Neeson. You know, he could go from being a serious actor to doing action films to doing something sweet and lighthearted like this. And the stuff with him and his son, I thought was really terrific. I mean, I really dug the chemistry between both Liam Neeson and Thomas Sangster. Their chemistry, at like their father and son chemistry, is really good. And actually, that's probably my favorite storyline in the in Love Actually. It's a father and son storyline between those two. And Love Actually is a really good romance film as well. I mean, it's a romance movie you could watch during Valentine's Day and Christmas, so that's pretty cool. All right, coming in at number 4 is The Grey. Now, this was directed by Joe Carnahan, and of course, it's Liam Neeson pretty much faring off against wolves. I kind of spoke about this a couple of times, actually. One when I was doing my top 10 movies set in the snow, and The Grey actually was in that list. Can't help it. The Grey is really fun. You know, Liam Neeson, I thought was really cool in this film. Of course, you had Dermot Mulroney in this, Frank Grillo, Joe Carnahan did a good job at directing. Such a really cool film. Terrible ending. I'm going to say right now, The Grey is good, but I did not like the ending at all. It kind of felt like a cliffhanger, really. And it felt like a setup for a sequel that haven't even came yet. So it's a shame that no one ever really went ahead and did a sequel to The Grey. I mean, the movie made like a couple of money, so it's kind of weird that. And The Grey is actually well liked too, so it's a shame that no one never decided to do like a sequel to this. But because The Grey is a really fun thrill ride. If you guys haven't seen The Grey, definitely check this one out. I know it's a little slow paced, but it's pretty decent. Coming in at number 3, now of course Batman Begins was the only comic book film that Liam Neeson starred in. So coming in at number 3 was Darkman, the movie directed by Sam Raimi. Darkman is awesome. The sequels was whatever, but the first Darkman with Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand is loads of fun. It's really violent. It's awesome to watch. Liam Neeson as the title role of Darkman is awesome. And it's a shame that Liam Neeson never really reprised his role again after this, because he was really good as a role. Oh, and Darkman is actually not based on a comic book, by the way. Some reason I said, speaking of Liam Neeson comic, my bad about that. But Darkman is not based on a comic. But it's still a superhero film, so maybe I should have said superhero. But anyway. Because I recently did my top 10 favorite superhero movies not based on comic books, and Darkman was actually in that list, so should remember that. Anyway, but still, Darkman is really fun, and like I said, it's a shame that that Liam Neeson never reprised his role again after Darkman, because he played that role really well. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Darkman, I mean, the movie was ahead of its time, like in the early 90s, comic book wasn't like as big as it was today. Or I should say superhero movies wasn't as big as they are today. That's what I meant to say. But Darkman is really good. Alright, coming in at number 2 is Schindler's List. Of course, here Liam Neeson pretty much plays Oskar Schindler. And Liam Neeson's character, the Schindler character, is not that good of a character at all. Of course, this was directed by Steven Spielberg, who's, of course, arguably one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. He, of course, had Ralph Fiennes, Sir Ben Kingsley. Really good movie. And I believe this movie won Best Picture at the Oscars. I mean, I wouldn't have had a vote for it, but it's still a decent film. And I believe Liam Neeson scored an Oscar nomination for this too, if I'm not mistaken. Gotta double check that. But But Liam Neeson was really good as well. I mean, I actually recently rewatched Schindler's List on the big screen back in December. Pretty cool to watch this on the big screen. I mean, it's not really a film that you could rewatch over and over. Like, it is a hard watch. I mean, I can only watch this movie maybe just once, and that's it. I mean, if you guys haven't seen Schindler's List, like I said, to warn you, you're probably going to want to watch this movie just once because it's a really hard watch. But overall, Liam Neeson in this is definitely, he was definitely good here. All right, now what's my favorite Liam Neeson movie? My number one favorite is a no-brainer. My number one favorite Liam Neeson movie, of course, is Taken. I mean, this movie was, of course, the one that restarted his action career. And come on, Liam Neeson playing a man who's trying to find his kidnapped daughter. How could you not like that? I mean, Liam Neeson, of course, this was a film that introduced us to Liam Neeson's set of skills. And of course, it introduced us to his classic phone call. If you guys seen Taken, you know what I'm talking about. The classic phone call. Also, you had Maggie Grace, Famke Janssen was in this. Really cool supporting cast, but Liam Neeson, I mean, he really kicked loads of butts here. And of course, Brian Mills is a really cool action hero. And Liam Neeson, of course, plays that role just perfectly. I mean, yeah, if you guys haven't seen Taken, I mean, who haven't seen Taken by now? But if you guys still haven't, check it out. It's a really fun action film. And I'm one of the rare folks who didn't mind the sequels too. I know the sequels get like hate on a lot, but I don't really mind them. I mean, they're not as good as the first Taken, but I still find them to be pretty decent. And if they announced that Liam Neeson is going to do a Taken 4, I'm down to see it. All right, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Commuter. 9, Star Wars The Phantom Menace. 8, NonStop. 7, Run All Night. 6, Batman Begins. 5, Love Actually. 4, The Grey. 3, Darkman. 2, Schindler's List. 1, Taken. Now, he's been in loads of other movies over the years. Let me pull his resume. He has a really cool resume. Can't wait to check out Cold Pursuit. That looks really fun. Unknown was really good, which is another John Collette-Sarah collaboration with him. He was pretty good in Widows. A Walk Among Tombstones was really fun. He was good as Silence, but to be honest, that's probably the one Martin Scorsese movie I couldn't really get into. He was good in The A-Team. Mark Felt wasn't a great film, but he was decent in it. Rob Rory was pretty good. Chronicles of Narnia, where of course he voiced Aslan. The Next 3 Days with Russell Crowe, that was alright. The Haunting was not that good. Battleship is actually a guilty pleasure of mine. He was in Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West, which I actually thought was really funny. I know lots of people didn't like that one, but to me, it was pretty fun. Amongst the Course he was good in. Gangs in New York, speaking of Scorsese. He was in a film called Dirt Person. Kinsey, I probably could have added. Micah Collins is a good one. He was in a movie called The Deadpool. Not that Deadpool. One with Clint Eastwood in it. Looking forward to seeing him in Man in Black International. I loved his cameo in Ted 2. That was a pretty fun cameo. But anyway, let me leave you guys. What are some of your favorite Liam Neeson movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.